Welcome to our first tutorial for our course Level 2 Certificate in Photography. Today we'll be looking at the cameras we may explore within the course, as well as learn a little bit about how they work. So let's dive straight in. For our course, we've said that the minimum requirement is a camera phone, but it will be great to be able to use or even borrow an SLR camera, as we will be learning a little theory about the SLR camera along with other cameras and apps that we can use too. So a little bit about my cameras that I've used over the years. So I first started to learn using a fully manual Olympus OM10, but my first camera that I bought was this Canon EOS 300 fully manual film camera, which I loved. And because I love that camera so much, when I upgraded to another Canon EOS 550D. The D stands for digital, and this is a great little camera actually. It's about 10 years old now, and you can still pick them up secondhand, really great price. So if you're looking for a secondhand camera, that might be a great option for you, unless you're intending to blow your photographs up to a massive scale. They still produce really great quality images as well. So firstly, let's understand what an SLR stands for. So SLR stands for single lens reflex. It refers to the camera system where the photographer sees exactly what the lens sees through the viewfinder. And so here's my viewfinder. I can also change the settings so I can use the large digital display as well. And that works by by looking through the viewfinder with the aid of a 45-degree mirror inside the camera. I'm just going to make sure my camera's off. Switch the lens off. I don't know if you can see inside. If I manage to hold that up correctly, you can probably see. There you go, the reflection of the light, and that's that mirror inside the camera. I'm just going to pop the lens back on. So this feature makes the SLR camera really versatile and allows you to have full control over your photography. So one of the key advantages of an SLR camera is the interchangeable lens system. So as you just saw, how easy it is to take the lens off. Now my camera came with what's called a kit camera. It's pretty versatile lens. I've got a fixed 50mm lens on currently. Lenses can be really expensive, a really expensive aspect in photography. So I would say if I was to just choose one additional lens, I would choose my fixed 50mm, just because I love the effects that you can create. It's great for really shallow depth of field photography. So you know those photographs where there's just maybe a very shallow plane that's in focus and everything perhaps in front and behind is blurred. So I love that photography effect. So talking about lenses, from wide angle lenses for capturing landscapes and telephoto lenses for capturing distant subjects, the possibilities really are endless with an SLR camera. Let's talk about shutter speed and aperture. So there are two key elements that play a really vital role in camera photography. We'll be having a deep dive into each of these areas within the first set of our tutorials for Module 1. But just to gain a brief overview, the shutter speed determines how long the camera shutter remains open, and that controls the amount of light that enters the camera, whereas a really fast shutter speed freezes the motion, while a long, slow shutter speed gives a sense of motion. You'll be able to see perhaps blurred aspects or images within the photograph. So on the other hand, aperture, that refers to the size of the lens opening. So if you imagine a hole that can get larger and smaller, and that also is affecting the amount of light that comes through the lens and onto the image sensor in the camera. So It affects the depth of field as well, and that means how much the image appears in focus, like we just spoke about with the fixed 50 lens. Lastly, we've got ISO settings. The ISO measures the sensitivity of the image sensor to light. The lower the ISO results in less noise but requires more light, so great in very sunny settings, while a higher ISO value captures more light, but it tends to introduce noise, that kind of grainy, speckly effect that is more often than not desired within a photographic image. So there you have it. They're the basics of SLR cameras. They offer great flexibility, allowing you to have full control over your photography. But as always, experiment, practice, and get creative. So we're just going to go through some of the basics. I'm not going to go into every single setting because everyone's camera is going to be different depending on what their make and model of camera is. So majority of these digital cameras will have an on and an off button. So I'll just switch my camera on and you can see the display here as well. It's got a lens cap, which I've already taken off. This part of the camera is called the lens, and it is changeable as well. So I would always turn it off first, but to take my lens off, you would just press a side button. This is called the lens release, and you can just click that off and take the lens off. To put it back on, you can see there's a white square and a dot, so you just match up the white square to the one on the camera, and you should be able to hear a nice click, and you know that it's nice and secure. So another important feature will be the automatic or the manual focus. So if I click on manual focus, you will need to focus the image entirely yourself. If you're on automatic focus, this is called the shutter release button. That's what you press to take a photograph. And if you half press it, you can see and hear that it's automatically focusing again. And so that's just half pressing, and that will focus the image. And then when we're ready, fully press to then take the photograph. This is your viewfinder to see your images, and you can normally switch between the to see your taken images, or to switch display. Rather than using the viewfinder, you can use the display to take your images also. So here is the main control dial. There's all sorts of different settings here. So the green one is complete automatic. You don't have to think, you just point and shoot and the camera will come up with the settings. Now we want to get a little bit more creative. So there's other things like aperture priority, shutter speed priority. We're going to start with using a P setting, and that stands for programmed automatic settings, and that gives you control over some of the settings, but it's a great way to start because your camera will automatically adjust the shutter speed and the aperture for, you know, the optimal exposure of the image that you're taking. One thing that I would suggest, especially as a beginner, is putting the ISO. Again, all these things we're going to be talking about quite early on in the module, so don't worry if you're not quite sure what it means now. You might want to start the module and then revisit this video and watch a second time later as well. So I want to fix the ISO on automatic. So I'm just checking that that is set on automatic here.
Okay, so it says ISO auto, and that means that the camera is choosing the optimal setting for that. This is the flash. So if we want to use the flash, you can just pop the flash up by using that button, or the camera will automatically use the flash in low lighting. But the idea is that we choose the correct shutter speed and aperture settings to be able to achieve the correct exposure, rather than relying on the flash, because the flash gives quite a harsh lighting, and unless that is what you're aiming for, it tends not to give the greatest of photographs. If you've got an additional flash, that's where that would click onto there. If you've got a tripod, you'd be able to fix it using this adapter here, and this is where my battery lives as well. So I'll turn it off. I can just pop my battery out, and I've got an external charger to charge that up, and that pops in there. So I think they're the majority of the settings that we're going to be talking about for the very first lesson. So one of the first things that you're going to want to know when taking your first photographs is how to focus your photographs. So we've got a choice of a manual focus and autofocus. So you can choose the manual focus, and then you can position how close up you want your image, and then adjust the focus like so. You'll be able to see by using the viewfinder whether it's in focus or not, depending on your make of camera. And another way of setting is obviously using the automatic focus, and we half press the shutter release and that will focus it. Full press will take the photograph. Now that's great if we're on automatic settings and the subject that you'd like to take a photograph is slap bang in the middle of the photo. Now, what if, say for example, you're taking a portrait and you would like the portrait, the person, to be in focus, but not necessarily in the center of the photograph? So my camera is set up as autofocus, but I'm going to change that to spot focus. So if you, on my camera, there's a little icon that looks like this with a button underneath it. So if I press that button, you can see it's on automatic selection, which means that the camera will focus and use its intelligence to do that. I'm going to put it on spot focus. So I want it to be right in the center. We press that to set it. And now if I half press my photograph, my shutter release, it focuses the image, and then I can fully take the photograph. Now this time, if I am focusing on the model, so I'm going to position the camera so they're in the middle of the shot, while still holding the shutter release halfway down. I'm not going to take my finger off it. I'm then going to reposition the camera and then fully take the photograph. So I've repositioned the camera, they're no longer in the center but offside, and then take the photograph. Now as you get a little bit more confident, you may wish to change the selection of the photograph of the focal point. So for example, if the model was standing on the right hand side, you could change the focus point to that right hand side of the camera. Okay, so I'm just gonna turn that back to automatic selection for now. Now, if you're using a camera phone, this is an iPhone, so you might have a different make and model of phone. To focus, you just tap what you wish to be in focus, and that will change. Okay.
So just to recap, if you're new to using your SLR camera, I would use the following settings. So set your ISO to automatic, let the camera do the hard work for now. On the mode dial, turn it to P, unless you're following the tasks where you're needing to choose the aperture setting or the shutter speed setting. For aperture priority, set the mode dial to AV, and for shutter speed priority, set it to TV. When using your camera phone, it's going to be down to your make and model whether you're able to select and choose the aperture and shutter speed. For example, on my iPhone, I'm able to change the aperture if I'm taking a photograph using portrait mode. Now, if you're only using a camera phone and don't have access to experiment with an SLR camera, I would really advise using a third-party app where you've got full controls, where you can change the aperture and the shutter speed settings within that for your phone.